What is up, everybody? Rand Brennan here with Franchise Tag Fantasy Football, bringing you the Waiver Wire Week 7 news. We needed to get you guys this right away. Look, things are getting desperate out there. Things are getting ugly, real ugly. But we're going to sift through those little turds and get you something nice. That's where we're at. That's where we're at today. Brennan.
Yes.
Today's debacle, one would say. Cowboys faced off against the Chargers tonight.
Was a home game for Dallas, basically.
It was, yes, because every team goes to SoFi away as a home team.
That's true.
Did it look like to you that both teams wanted to lose this game?
No, it was weird, though, that Dallas didn't have a single sack until the very last play of the game, or like the second last play of the game, I should say. So that was kind of surprising. The Chargers out-sacked the Cowboys. But other than that, it wasn't anything surprising. Both teams did go for it on 4th and 1, 4th and inches to try to get the points, whatever the case we want to get it. But it wasn't anything surprising, no.
Yeah. Notes from the Cowboys side of the ball. CeeDee Lamb he's looking pretty good. He's looking real good. But I wanted to talk about just something that stood out to me. Michael Gallup had 10 targets today. You said it earlier, and I was like, that's kind of crazy.
10 targets and 3 catches for 24 yards. They're just not – he's getting the volume. It's just not connecting. So I would still – if people are starting Michael Gallup in the flex, I'm not upset about it. He's getting all these targets. It's gonna hit at some point.
Yeah. I think in like a 14, 16 man league, Michael Gallup is a good dart throw. I just wanted to point that out because it stood out. Right when you said that, I was like, absolutely. Wait, I can really remember that. CeeDee Lamb went 7 for 7 for 117. Tony Pollard could have had just a massive day. He still had a good day. He was still fine today. But had he caught that touchdown pass at the end of the game, oh my God.
Had he not got stopped running the ball for the breakaway receiving, the little breakout that he had, out route he had, he probably would have had 26 points with that. And had he caught that touchdown at the end, you're looking at 33 points for him had he completed just those 2 plays. But he still had a great day. I think it's 17 points today?
14 points in regular scoring formats. He was 15 carries for 30 yards and then added what really helped you. 6 receptions on 7 targets. 7.
Pretty impressive.
For 80 yards. Yeah. He could have had a huge game. I'm telling you, I thought it twice. I'm playing against Tony Pollard, but that doesn't matter anymore. I've given up hope. I've given up, life. It's fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just find me in the grave. It's cool. Outside of that, Dak looked to me mediocre for the majority of the game. And that's it for the Dallas side of the ball.
Yeah, Charger side, this was Herbert. It was a pretty decent game for Herbert. Wasn't all there for passing yards wise. He did have 2 touchdowns. He actually caught his own batted ball, and then he got 10 yards out of that. And then he had 6 carries for 20 yards. So it was a pretty decent day for Herbert. You're not upset about it. Austin Eckler was pretty disappointing, though, for coming back. He had 14 carries for 27 yards. Then only had 4 receptions for 35. I was expecting a little more on the yardage. I actually bet pretty heavy. His line was at 31.5 for the receiving yards, and I slammed it. And he got that big old play in the first, and then he was just sitting there staggering at 31 yards. I was like, oh, God, I'm going to lose because he's not going to get one more catch. And they got stuffed at the 1-yard line. But Keenan Allen is what we expect him to be, 7 receptions, 85 yards, and a touchdown. And Josh Palmer, we talked about him in week 4 when Mike Williams went down to Adam, and he's definitely going to be the number 2 in this offense because Quentin Johnson had just 2 targets for 0 catches and 0 yards. So it is a bad day if you really thought Quentin Johnson's going to be something.
Yeah, and I can't stress this enough. I am just at the same level of tired of seeing Mac Jones on my TV. I am real tired of seeing Josh Kelly touch the ball. There is just no reason for that man to still have a uniform on. I don't get it. But why say Eckler was a full go? He was going to be a full participant today, and then he's splitting carries with one of the most meh running backs that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know.
He didn't split carries at all because Eckler led this team in carries by a mile. He was on the field more, and I think it's more so they were trying to preserve Eckler for the time being, because just so he can come back and be healthy. They're trying to preserve his health, because when Eckler's on the field, the Chargers offense is a lot more fluid.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I'm trying to get to. Maybe I said carries, but like what I'm really meaning is snaps.
It was a snap count. He was more on the snap count.
Because you definitely saw him on the field.
No, I agree with that. He was in the field on a decent amount.
Yeah, he didn't carry the ball that much, but like he was just on the field too much, and like even one time was too many. That's where I'm at with Josh Kelly. So, anything else for this game in specifics?
No, there's no one I'm like after this game I'm looking to like kind of sell high or buy low. There's no one that like really stands out. Maybe you can go after like Michael Gallup or Brandon Cooks, one of the guys, maybe gamble on one of them to see if they'll be the wide receiver two next to CD, but that's about it.
Brandon Cooks kind of looks like the forgotten guy. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, I agree.
Or like the gadget player that they don't really need because they have somebody better.
Yeah, besides that touchdown, it would have been 4 receptions, 38 yards, and he had 1 carry for 14. The touchdown saved him today.
Yeah, he had a really big catch to, I guess, really seal the win. You could say.
Yeah, I would agree, because it would have given them the ball like with 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So I agree.
Yeah, big catch. Anyways, I'm done talking about this game. To me, honestly, it seemed like both teams wanted to lose. Brandon Staley needs to be fired. Everybody in that whole coaching room, everybody in the Chargers facility that is a coach, fired today.
Besides Kellen Moore, I actually like Kellen Moore. I like him as an offensive coordinator.
I don't.
I'm on the opposite side. I like him a lot. High scoring. It's great for fantasy.
Was it 17 points was high scoring today? I don't know.
Dallas is a good defense.
I hate Kellen Moore too. I hate everybody that came from Dallas. I hate Dallas. So I just hated this game. I was a big hater today. Maybe because my hopes and dreams are dashed, and
It's a sad day for Ray, guys. He's down in the dumps in his main league. He's
down in the dumps.
0-6 or 1-5?
0-6. I wish I had one win. I would sell my kidney for one win, please. One win, please. All right, so let's get into this here.
News and notes.
There's a few to talk about. So
so it was confirmed during the game. Stephen Holder, who's a beat writer for the Colts, he talked with the owner of the Colts. Anthony Richardson's done for the season. It's seeming like it. I think they're going to go with the surgery route, which getting 3 wins by week 6. You would have told me that, I'd been kind of in disbelief. So this actually helps us with a better draft pick. It sucks. I love Anthony Richardson, but long-term health is the most important thing. So you have him. Wait till the news is official. This is all kind of reported last night. But if you have him in your IR slot, you can kind of get rid of him if he is confirmed out for the year.
Yeah, that's why I was only holding on to him in my. I have one share of him, and I was holding on just in case, just to see. Yeah, maybe I get something out of it.
Come back, yeah. But if that's the case, it's unfortunate. So,
yeah.
Other news: Leonard Fournette visited the Bills today. Nothing has been official. He hasn't signed. He did a visit. It's really annoying because the James Cook owner. I don't know why. James Cook is super efficient, so kind of annoying.
He'll sign
I guess if Damian Harris is hurt, it makes sense, but it's gross.
What was the difference between whatever Leonard Fournette's going to give you and what Latavius Murray can give you? What's the difference?
An extra body, I guess. I think it's just because he's a name. We're all kind of worried that he might take some snaps, but I really don't see that happening.
But then, Latavius got 14 carries.
Yeah, that was weird.
So yes, he will take some carries.
I'm hoping it's not going to happen because he wasn't good last year with the Bucs. So I don't think anything changed. He's probably been eating a lot. So, other news: it looks like CMC is going to miss this week. The head coach kind of came out and said he's probably looking at missing this week and potentially next week, but he is going to try to practice. So just be leery. We have some guys we're going to talk about for the waiver wire pickup that involve this backfield, but just know that CMC is trying to play this week. He did come out and say, I am going to try to play this week. So just FYI on that one. And then last news, Ray, I'm going to give you this is not on the note stock, but I did forget about it. Aaron Rodgers is trying to come back week 12.
So Did you see the warm-ups that he was having before the
Yeah.
Jets game? And like he's throwing the ball, and I'm sitting there thinking, as a Achilles tear survivor myself,
Yeah.
The treacherous waters that I had to navigate. I couldn't imagine throwing a ball around. I was still in the cast.
Yeah.
That's crazy that he's walking around. That's wild.
Ray, if he does play this year, I'm going to dedicate my life to ayahuasca and the anti-vax movement. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
Fully behind it. There's something that I don't know that he knows, and I am fully going to deep dive into that because I'm
dolphin mating sounds, like whatever he's doing.
Yeah,
that needs to be the gold standard now.
Because I have a torn patella right now, and I'm recovering from it from surgery. So if whatever he says, ayahuasca cures it, I'm taking the boatloads of it. It's sitting in a dark room,
or not. It's sitting in a light room. He did a light room too. I don't know. He's a weird dude. He's an interesting fella, as he is. Mark Murphy once coined. If he comes back week 12, I mean, my fantasy season's over, so it doesn't matter. Like you might as well just light my whole computer on fire at this point. But that would be it, right? That would be the icing on the cake. Is it like he comes back
and goes off in the playoffs?
Just bananas. He just goes crazy. 56 points a week, just slinging it around, and like, here it is. Thanks.
Yeah,
appreciate
it. That's funny though. All right, Wonderful. We'll talk about some waiver wire ads here, folks. We will start.
I want to.
We will start with the running backs here. I guess the most notable name, he did eat into it a little bit in the San Francisco game and actually looked pretty efficient. It's Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's currently 59% rostered. I still think Jerome Ford's the guy, but he's going to get some work. You just don't know. I'm really sitting at just like 5% of fab, nothing crazy. I don't even think it's just if you can have somebody to cut, that's about where I stand.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it last episode and a couple episodes before that. Like, he's worth at least a roster spot. I wouldn't spend a lot. I think 5 is rich. You're going to get him at 5, I think, unless somebody's super, super desperate. But us desperate folk, we're already out, so it doesn't matter. I would spend
59 fab on Demario Mercado.
So good. And you know what's stupid is that most people are going to cut him this week, and watch, he's going to take over this week. Just watch that happen.
It probably would. The next guy is a part of the San Francisco backfield. Now, I will preface this, that head coach did come out say that Elijah Mitchell has been there the longest. He knows the playbook. He will get the first shot, but he also didn't dismiss the guys we're going to mention. So he did say that Jordan Mason has been doing really good things, and he did not acknowledge that, but he did say that Elijah Mitchell will be the current RB1 if CMC doesn't go. So I would spend a little bit of fab on Jordan Mason. He's only 9% rostered. Let me ask you this, Ray, before we do that. If CMC is out, who are you starting, Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason?
I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I think both could be. They're going to rely on the running game a lot, especially if Debo misses some more time. If they're in these situations where they need to solidify the run game. That offense is predicated on the run. That is how they are. That's their bread and butter. That's how they're going to do it. So I think both are going to be viable starts, flex starts. That's
you got to pick one though.
Probably Jordan Mason.
Okay.
Because he looked pretty good.
Yeah. So Jordan Mason had decent carries, and Elijah Mitchell did actually enter the game. He had 2 carries for -3 yards.
Yeah.
So
Jordan Mason.
How much fab would you spend on him though?
It's tough because you're getting a 3-week rental at max. But if you're desperate, 20%. If you're desperate,
that is reeking desperation for sure.
If you're desperate,
I would hold strong at like 6% as my cap.
I want to do that, but again, for those that are just in the depths, as one would say, in the submersibles, they're about to implode.
Oh man.
That's how I'm feeling right now.
Fair enough. The next guy, so it looks like Dave Montgomery's going to miss some time. They're not sure of how much time. Jahmyr Gibbs is looking to practice this week, but if for some reason there's a setback with him, Craig Reynolds is the third guy there. He did play a lot in the game that he was out. He had 10 carries, 15 yards, and he had 2 catches for 28 yards in that Bucs game. Regardless, if he is the RB1, you still have the waiver. He's 6% rostered. Craig, or how much would you spend on Craig Reynolds?
That'd be a guy I wouldn't go over 3.
Okay.
With 3%. Like, and even then, it's like you're probably going to get him at 3. You might be able to just get him off free, really, a free bid.
Okay, you can kind of wait for him.
Yeah, I think you could.
Okay.
Because you're getting probably like a 1 week rental, and
yeah, because if Jahmyr Gibbs is healthy, then he's the guy. So
yeah, and Craig Reynolds hasn't looked like lights out, super good or nothing like that. He didn't look like demigod himself. He didn't look like him.
You're gonna hold on to that forever.
No, I'll never forget it now. But I had to. I was in a predicament.
Yes, I understand. So the next guy is Ray's favorite player of all time. He loves him as a running back. He thinks he's one of the best running backs ever to touch this planet. It is Devin Singletary out of the Houston Texans. He's currently 25% roster owned. So Dameon Pierce had 34 yards and 13 carries last week, but it was Singletary who had the most of his opportunities on Sunday. He rushed for 58 yards and caught 1 pass for 4 yards. It looks like Singletary is starting to get into this like a 50-50 split backfield. Ray, how much would you spend on Devin Singletary?
Nothing.
I
wouldn't spend a penny. Maybe $1. Not a lot. It's not a good running scheme. It's not a good running team. And you're now splitting work with a better running back. No, thank you. Let somebody else do that. If you needed it.
Okay. So this guy is the definition of a definite 1, maybe 2 week rental. It's Zach Evans for the Los Angeles Rams. Kyren Williams has already been confirmed he's out for this week against the Steelers. Ronnie Rivers has been confirmed he's going to the IR, so it only leads Zach Evans as the lead back. So expect the Rams to sign somebody or bring up somebody from the practice squad, but it looks like Zach Evans will get the first crack out of the backfield. How much fab would you spend on him for a guy who looks like he's going to guaranteed work?
Probably 6%.
Okay.
Maybe a little more he would probably be the desperation play, I think. I think he would be.
He's more the desperation play of the week. I would definitely think if you're going to try to secure somebody, I think Zach Evans is probably the more out of all the running backs we said, the guy I would spend the most on.
Yeah. But that's really you got to be in the shit. And if you're at that point, I don't know if Zach Evans is going to be the thing that's going to pull you out of it.
Yeah. Last guys who are still not 100% owned, but probably should be. Roschon Johnson's at 76%. Jeff Wilson's at 75%, and Justice Hill's at 64%. So if they are available, please go pick them up. They are going to be vital to their offenses going forward. Now for the wide receivers, it's still crazy. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I said Josh Downs, he's going to be someone to stash and hold, and he is now emerging as a wide receiver 2 in the Colts offense. Alex Pierce just left the game last week with a bad shoulder injury. I don't think he'll play this week, so it'll definitely be Josh Downs lining up either in the slot or outside, but he is very good. He's only 43% rostered. Ray, how much would you spend fab-wise on him?
If you're in a PPR league and you needed a receiver, if you're in a PPR specific league, I'm looking at probably maybe 7%, 6%, because you can start him every week. Especially in deeper leagues, you could really start him. He's going to get you 10 points. He's getting just hyper targeted because they need to be able to move the chains. He's good at it. So, and he's explosive.
I agree. This is really probably a rough week for wide receiver pickups. There's really nobody else. JSN is someone I'd monitor. He had his biggest week this week. He's 56% owned. Curtis Samuel, again, he's only 51% rostered. That is a dude that you definitely need to have on your team and your starting lineup because he looks like to be the wide receiver 2 for this team and not Jahan Dotson. Other names, Jameson Williams at 82%, Rashee Rice is 61%, and Deontay Johnson, if he's available, whatever reason in your leagues, which would be crazy, he's only 72% owned, and he is back this week. So,
yeah, one more name that I wanted to bring up was Kendrick Bourne. I know that he just had a big game this week, and that offense looks like hot dog ass. But I would say that he has probably the most talent on the receiving core they have. And if they were smart, if Bill Belichick wanted to maybe coach next season, he would start really focusing in on getting Kendrick Bourne more and more targets and more catches. It's kind of crazy that because he looks good every time he gets a chance. He looks good. I
agree. It's just a matter of the offense actually trying to move the football, which is They're the worst thing they can do. So again, tight end wasteland. If you are just on a pinch, some teams are on bye this week, so just be mindful of that. If your tight end isn't on bye, you have no choice. Michael Mayer was really good last week for the Raiders, and I don't think Jimmy G plays this week, so he was pretty much involved in the offense. It's someone who if you're looking for a crapshoot, looked good last week. Maybe he does it again this week. Who knows? And then again, Dalton Schultz isn't 100% owned. That's someone I'd probably start rolling out every week because it looks like him and CJ Stroud have a nice connection.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree.
So, all right, Ray, do you have a defense that you're looking to pick up this week? Like someone
I do.
expensive guy. Okay, and who is that?
The Browns.
The Browns.
Let's take a look at the Browns.
They are play us. Colts. Awesome.
21% owned. Gardner Minshew just got hornswoggled this last week. I would like to see a little bit more hornswoggling. The Browns, please.
Let me ask you this. So there's a couple teams I see here. So the Commanders play the Giants. They're in New York. Would you start the Commanders defense against the Giants?
Is Daniel Jones playing?
He might. So if Daniel Jones is playing, would you start Commanders defense?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you, there's two teams that are playing against each other, and would you start either of them? The Raiders are going to Chicago. So Justin Fields is probably going to be out, and Jimmy G is going to probably be out. So I think it's a low-scoring game for obvious reasons. Would you start one of the defenses, and if you did, which one?
Right now, I would probably go with the Raiders defense because if Brian Hoyer is starting, at least he can move the offense. He's seen a blitz before. Whereas, like, they've got this D2 guy out in Chicago. What is his name? I don't even know his name.
Badgett, something like that.
That dude.
Yeah.
Again, I would like to see some hornswoggling. And I think that the Raiders defense has a good. Max Crosby's crazy enough, gets in the backfield enough times.
Some sacks.
Yeah, get some sacks. Some points.
The last team that I will say, if for some reason those defenses are picked up, I feel like the Rams against the Steelers, the Rams defense, I think they'd have a pretty good day against the Steelers. I think Aaron Donald gets that backfield pretty quickly and can get Kenny Pickett in some trouble.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's been sacked a lot this season. I can see that happening, and I'm not necessarily afraid of the Steelers' offense aside from George Pickens breaking one off. So
yeah,
I'm with that.
All right. Well, that's all I have for the waiver wires. You have anything else, Ray?
No, not at all.
All right, folks. Appreciate you guys sticking around for this long. You guys have any questions about some waiver wire pickups or who you should start, who you should drop, who you should trade for? Comment below. Myself or Ray or Aaron will be there very quickly to respond back to you, promise. So appreciate you guys sticking around. Until the next time, we will see you later.